press yes. So, hello, Itay.
Hello, my dear.
Hello from Löwenherz. I'm here in my community. It's in the north of Berlin in Brandenburg. So I just landed here after a lot of traffic craziness. And yeah, just my soul, whenever it lands here on this land, like in the nature, it's like immediately, wow, getting wide and can breathe. And so, yeah, I'm happy I decided to have the call from here. And you are in Israel.
Israel in the countryside, also in a nice landscape, but let's say I'm curious about your landscape.
Ah, yes, great. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for letting us know more about you. I feel in the Berlin spiritual scene, your initiation and the work you do together with Dara is like getting really like it's trickling down into the scene, and many people know about it. And also through my last video, more people found out about it. And so I was really curious, and I would like to hear maybe first a little bit really about you. I know that your work is not, you don't like that it's about you. You want it to be about the work, but I would just like to hear a little bit about you personally. And what I know from you is that you come from the art scene, from the theater scene. You are an actor and a theater director, a curator, and an artistic mentor, as I understand it. And you've developed a method called Tell Me Art.
generally, to say short,
Yes.
because I really prefer to speak on the essence of things, and I prefer to be as much as less in the center of the field. I can explain why if it's needed. So shortly, I started my life with two enormous desires. One was for the art, and the other, let's call, was to research my spirit and my connection with the universe from a spiritual aspect. As long as I grew up, I understood that the art is maybe the most inspiring field to grow into consciousness and to healing aspects of our multidimensional being. Aside to that, I researched certain genres of, let's say, consciousness, spiritual streams, coming from Judaism to mystic Judaism to Buddhism to shamanism, and in the last years, the psychomagical aspect of our consciousness, where I found more of my base. Aside to that, I was doing a lot of diverse art, and eventually I started to research obsessively modern rituals. I understood that this is my field. And then I started to integrate all kinds of knowledge and discipline that I gathered. And in a certain moment, after a research of 2.5 years of contemporary ritual, something opened for me. And from this point, started to give birth to practical, what I call today movement keys, which is um, actions that are holistic actions, that they speak directly with the subconscious, and they work like medicine. And in the last 10 years, this is my main field, leading hundreds of um, formats of spaces with a lot of beautiful humans, um, till I reached the point that I started to design really to synthesis, to make it as much crystallized as possible, what I call now the program of initiation, that is giving today, I'm in constant development, but giving today really like a pill based on practical science of our body, uh, focusing on the element of how we become our own initiators, and with an enormous influence of our past body. What I call past body is like our post-traumatic field, individually and collectively. So the field is super arty. It's based on the art of creation, as in creation, not in the name of the gallery, but in the name of the superior creator. And the practice is not an experiment, it's actual structures. I hope it was a good answer.
Yes, we dive straight into it. Like for me, two things stood out where I would like to go a bit deeper is for me, as I'm not coming from the arts, there is a separation between art. There's the artist, he's doing art, like you said, you know, from the museums or whatever, and then there's the other humans. And as you just like transmitted what is art, the art of creation, we are all an artist, right? And
All.
it gives me a completely new understanding, or not even understanding, it gives me a straight feeling into what is actually art, like the art of creation. Because my question would have been, what does art have to do with healing? And for you, it doesn't seem to be at all disconnected.
It's a marvelous question. I don't see that healing can be without art, because the most, let's say, the biggest key that I have found in my research in the last decade is that there's nothing like creativity. And the ability to jump out of what we call our own traumatic past or our own biography, which is a pixel of the landscape of consciousness that we are, is like the artist standing in front of a huge canvas with endless possibilities of creation and symbols and archetypes and dimensions, that they are actually the best art you can find. You can't find better art than that. So the link to creativity, or what I call the superior creator, for sure means for me that we are all artists. Unfortunately, we are not aligned with the graceful, blissful craft of our art and our ability to create more than a reality.
We are not aligned with the ability of crafting art.
Yes, we are not aligned with our ability to create. This is not something that we are educated to do. We may be educated to create an omelette or to create an idea, but we are not perceiving ourselves as mega creators.
Yeah, what I what I find also a lot in the scene of healing is an imitation. There is a lot of like imitation because people are not connected to this creator that they carry within. And I think that's in general a shadow. That's why, or a reason why the world can't really innovate, because there is a lot of innovation, but then there is also, we are also stuck in imitation somehow. And for me, it's a huge journey to step into this trust again, that I can really create from within, and I can be original. I am original.
This is the base ground of level 1 initiation. We dare to step out of what we use to identify as therapy, as the structure even of the relationship between moi as the leader of the journey and the student of the journey. All those structures are melting. In the field, there is only one thing, knowledge going through the initiator, which is you, me, and all other formats are melting. A lot of old approaches to education or to what we need according to evolvement, our attention, our we put the glasses in name of future. We almost not speak at all about past. A lot of principles that they hold till today, the basic approach for therapy, we don't use.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So imitation cannot at all enter this space. It will reject it immediately.
Yeah, and it's so touching and gentle and humble when you speak, when you open this field where all the roles and all the ideas and everything just drops, and there is only connection to creation and wonder. And as you just spoke about it, I was immediately like, something in me was melting, like completely melting. And yeah,
If you would go, I don't know, maybe the place that you live with your community is very familiar, but let's imagine that in some way you find yourself in the nature there is no familiar, and you walk there on your own. And naturally, as long as you go more into the nature, a lot of things that you were taking with you, they're just starting to melt.
Yeah.
Because they don't have any reflections anymore from the new landscape. And then it's only you in front of the mystical nature, and that's it.
Yeah.
No words are needed. It's not the same communication.
Yeah, and here I would like to get a bit deeper. Like, I wonder, I am sitting a lot with the question of collective consciousness and how we can enter into that, because it doesn't, for some people, it seems to be something more natural than for others. I know from myself, like, I have been stuck in my personal shit for a long time, and only slowly, with the last 3 years or so, the idea of service is opening up in me. And I just wonder, like, as I see it, we are born in this original state that we just described, like when the canvas is white. It's not really white because we are all like full of trauma and we brought things into our DNA, that so it cannot really be white, but something is really pure when we are born as a baby, and then we are in a state where we take a lot, like we are needy as a baby, right? And we only take, we only demand from the outside and from life because we have to. And then other cultures like went into an initiation, right, to step into the, I don't know, adult self. And I wonder, this idea of we serve collective consciousness or the collective, so we don't serve ourselves anymore, is that also some form of natural state that we step in when the baggage leaves us? Like, how can we really, how can we step into it so that it becomes natural? Because I don't want to fight for being in collective consciousness. I want to, like, I want it to be born. Yeah.
So you opened a lot of doors. So I will try to gather them all into one stream. for sure I'm speaking from my eyes, from my knowledge, from what I see, from what I understood till now. Like a lot of illusions and the narratives that we were educated by and we inherited the idea of a personal, what you call personal shit. While actually we are only collective consciousness. This is what we are. There is not, in my understanding, there is not you disattached from something, or disconnected from something. So the collective consciousness is your basic natural being. This is why everything is in our system. You say we are not born as a white canvas because we are epigenetically and consciously connected to everything. In different state of consciousness, also the white canvas exists, which is our ability to create what I call the future body. There are multiple bodies that we have carrying different instruments and different memories and different abilities. As long as your consciousness is being more opened, the white canvas appear more and more and more and more and more and more and more. And the thing is that we identify collective consciousness with a lot of agendas of spirituality in the name of morality, in the name of humanity, in the name of justice. And I want to speak about something practical. If you agree with me of the fact that the natural being is collective consciousness, is the most natural essence of our being, then every time that we are busy with our own personal healing, we miss the track. Because we are disattaching from the natural being. Every time that we unify ourselves with the understanding that is more than me, we are immediately in the field, and we are immediately in a new option for good oxygen. Because it's streams that you can be launched from. So as long as you are more busy with your own, you are more and more shattering your own nature, which is you are consciousness. You're not a part of consciousness. You are consciousness.
So this natural state, or the state of, like, I ask it, I mean, service. I ask for service also, which appears maybe naturally when we are connected to everything, because when we are connected to everything, the action is serving everything, basically giving.
Giving, sharing, giving. The natural being is giving. The natural cosmos is giving. This is its natural movement. Earth, the land is giving. Sky is giving. Sun is giving. It's the natural. So if I disattach from service, what you call giving, I'm disattaching from the root of the natural consciousness, which is giving. This is why, as long as I give more, I more and more and more and more and more and more and more healed, because I'm more close to the source.
Yeah, but I think the line is very, very fine between, like, service as a concept and giving as a very natural principle of life.
Yes.
Yeah.
I personally, I don't like to involve spiritual ideas of being saint, being sacred, being Jesus, being whatever. Yes. I think the modesty in front of who we are and what we do should be really, really, really simple and practical. So
Yeah.
source is in the movement of giving. I will join.
Yeah.
I find the way to be as much practical as possible without building on top of that intellectual, spiritual, big philosophies.
And yet we are kind of living in them, like we are living and swimming in the matrix of ideas everywhere and concepts everywhere. And the
Yes.
challenge I had after the initiation, like if you tell me just act, just go in action, just go into giving, like I kind of make immediately some idea and concept out of
Yes.
it. And like how can I not make a concept out of it when I live in an artificial world that is based on the mind and that is based on ideas? I mean, if I would live in nature, surrounded by a natural community that still lives according to the principles of life, you know, then yeah, I understand what you mean. I understand what is giving, but when I'm not there, I just don't understand it. Like
What happened naturally to me is that I had very, very, excuse me, very, very strong instinct, stop speaking. And 99% of what I do is without words. Reason for that is that the body, which is the temple of intelligence, and the action, they deliver more knowledge than what we speak.
Yeah.
So as long as we are more initiated to the fact that we are in a physical dimension, we less and less and less are busy with what you call the matrix of endless philosophies and endless ideas. And we are more and more and more busy by defining the action and taking the action as the evidence of creation. It's like, two people sitting and they're discussing whether they should give children to this world or not give children to this world. Is the world too dangerous? The world is too dead. No, but the child will be like this. The child will be like this. We should not be parents. So yes, we should. No, we should not. Yes, we should. But it's too dangerous. And politically, the climate. No, the economically. And they can sit like that and they can turn from 20 to 80 and they wake up and say, where is the baby? Yes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or, for sure, we speak on two people, they have common agreement between themselves. They can follow the natural understanding that they are a part of creation. And as a part of creation, they are creating.
Yeah.
The relationship with the universe is a relationship of endless relationship, internal relationship. So they can write books about why not to bring children to this world today. They can have a million ideas about parenthood, but they will never be a father or a mother. You understand the metaphor?
Yes, yes, of course. I understand it, but it makes me really, I don't know, I can't take really seriously our world then that is so much based on that. And me personally, I'm so naturally embodied being. Like I have not always been like that, but the more like I really freed my body from numbness and really stuck energy and emotions of my traumatic past, the more, yeah, I you called it, the more we are initiated into the fact that we are live in a physical dimension, that was like okay, yeah, exactly, because the less I could really take these concepts and books and analysis and all that things serious, and what I now notice is even embodiment is used as a concept. Embodiment, we have to learn embodiment. And I think I would like to go here a bit more deeper, because embodiment is really one of my favorite topics where I see a renaturalization of who we are. Yeah, and how you named it, it sounded so simple. It sounded so simple. The fact that we live in a physical dimension and that we have a physical body. Why the fuck is that so hard for us to understand? Trauma, but maybe you want to speak into it, because
why are we not initiated to that in primal stage?
Why are we
First of
not?
all, because we live in the life that is worshipping intellect, and is disconnected from the body almost from the birth, afraid from the body, doubting the body, does not understand at all that this is the main dimension of our existence. Far, far, far from the people that live in the jungle, in the forest, with only, I don't know, something on their breasts or their genitals, and that's it. Living in nature with their skin, activating themselves constantly, not seeing themselves separated from nature, being in relationship with their body all the time, initiated by their physical dimensions. So in our culture, it does not exist. It has a lot of reasons, political reasons, religious reasons, gender reasons, a lot. Maybe it's a topic by itself. And you know that there is a reason that we don't find ourselves with tools of rituals as changing consciousness. You know, now in the last years, it's very popular to go to have ayahuasca, to have mushrooms, to have, I don't know, as a kind of awakening of the treasures of those medicines. But the main medicine is this. This is the main medicine. Yes, when you take a psychedelic, it can open for you something, but it will not reform your nervous system. It will not launch you from your post-traumatic body. It will not last after the trip is ending. So there are a lot of reasons why we are disattached from that, but I'm not sure this is the most important thing to talk. Maybe it's more practical or useful to speak about the fact that it is here. And why didn't we do it? Okay, but it is here now. And we can do it. And I can tell you that from my eyes, from what I did, I saw beautiful people creating huge metamorphoses from themselves in minimum time while they're entering the physical multidimensional field, then going into the formal therapy. I saw things I could not believe that they are happening.
We can. It's so fascinating for me to listen to you that I have a hard time sticking to the questions I wanted to ask, or sticking to,
it's
okay, let's get
more than one time when we meet, you know, it's
let's get practical. I wanted to say, like, okay, we enter into the field of the multidimensional physical field. Again, I cannot really become practical because it's so fascinating for me. But I maybe So I'm curious about ritual. What is ritual? Ritual in the multidimensional physical field. Yeah,
Yes.
that's what we do when we go into the initiation.
Right.
Okay. And yeah, so maybe you can speak a bit about that. What is this initiation? What makes it multidimensional?
Yes.
And yeah.
Again, I try to put it as much as simple as possible. If it's not clear, stop me immediately, because it's very, very deep. It's like a net, but I don't want to make it sound too complicated. So let's say like that. You have physical dimension, which is your body. You have energetical dimension. You have sensual dimension. You have sexual dimension. You have emotional dimension. You have vocal dimension. You have intellect dimension. You have spiritual dimension.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
so many
you knew that. It's
dimensions.
not new for you what
I
I
know,
said.
no. But still, when you say it like that, I get a bit dizzy. Yeah.
So as long as those are the base, this is the base. In this base, there are more openings because everything is opening and opening and opening. Dimensions are constantly opening. This is the base, like the 7 notes of music: do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. Okay, so those are the dimensions. Inside of them, all music exists, all dimensions exist. So as long that you are aware and you are always constant with yourself, that more dimension will take place while you open a field of consciousness, the more it opens. So initiation based on the fact that as you enter the field, it is based, this science, this medicine is based on the fact that it is supporting you to open multidimensional being of you. At the second that more dimension open, immediately consciousness starts to open. Immediately when consciousness starts to open, relationship with nervous system and surrounding is different. This is why people take psychedelics or drugs, because they want to change the relationship of what they see, what they sense, and what they experience. You can do it also without substances. This is what we do. As long as you're going further and your temple of intelligence, which is the body, is getting more used to open dimensions inside of him or her or they, then the playground starts to open more and more and more. And instead of being very identified with a certain identity of your past body, you are starting to reveal that you're actually a babushka. And you have multi-bodies to research. Was clear?
It's nothing I really understand with my mind. It's more like I understand it on a multidimensional perspective, listening to you from many different angles.
Let's take for example energy. Energy. As long as your energy change, your consciousness is changing, right? You experience that.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
So as long as more dimensions are opening, consciousness starts to be more and more happy, and she starts to dance the rumba.
Yes.
Because she can open.
Yes. Yeah. And what do people have from that opening? Like when somebody's interested to come to this initiation. So yeah, they are probably interested in experiencing, as you said, themselves and the world differently. And what does it make it? Why is it lasting? Why is it?
The reason that, in my opinion, everyone should do it is because we are in a stage now that collectively we should all be recognizing the fact that we are post-traumatic. And the level 1 of the initiation is going like laser into creating a new field for you in front of your past body, integrating you immediately in hours to the electric field of creation. Why does it last? Because first of all, it lasts while the initiators, they continue to work with the science. As long as the initiator come back again and again to this spiral, it lasts more. Yes, some people, they come to initiation every time, and every time is different because it's a ritual that happens now. So why to do that? Because we're not aware that everything that we experience is a result of our nervous system. We are all post-traumatic. Our nervous system of everyone is addicted to pain in a level that we don't want to recognize in.
Yeah.
So the initiation reforms that and offer a practical science to do that immediately and now. And mostly I can say that I don't like to feedback myself, but you can go to the Modern Mystic Art site and you can read what people say, what people state about it, how you did it also. So maybe you can share your own experiences better than I will speak about it. I can say that if I would not see that it's practical, I would not do it.
Yeah, maybe I wanted to say something about my own experience. Like there's many things I could say. I could go into many directions what I've experienced, but maybe speaking about this like avoidance that we are post-traumatic, like maybe we see our own pain, but then seeing the pain and the trauma of the collective trauma is something that shifted after the initiation. So like really huge waves of collective trauma just flowed through me the weeks after. And I had a lot of capacity in my body. That is my experience, what we did in the reshaping of the nervous system. We invite so much energy into our system on so many dimensions that all of a sudden the trauma of the world is not too much anymore. And I can feel it and let it flow through without being stuck in it, without suffering. It's just, okay, one dimension, lots of energy. And these emotions can even be like, it can be liberating to feel the pain of the world. It's like, finally, like, and yeah, that was one big thing.
You said it better than me. I should ask you the question.
Yeah, yes. We can do that next time. Yeah.
Words.
Yeah, great. Yeah, thank you so much. Like, I think that's a good, nice ending. I will come back to the initiation. I feel very committed to the work, and actually I'm just, an addict. I don't want to say addict, but somehow like I have so much fascination and motivation to open to even deeper dimensions within myself. And if you want to really, for the listeners, experience a field where you can experience yourself as this multidimensional being, it's really about yourself. It's really like you just hold this powerful container and we step through the body into this vastness. And I think it's endless, so that's why you probably say come back, or if you come back, because it's endless and there's also so much trauma we have to feel.
If I may add something to this, just had a session today that I spoke about it, that in Western education, you did something and you go on. In martial art, you can practice one exercise all your life. And people, they I don't know, maybe they don't know, maybe they don't want to see it, but consciousness is based on the fact that as long as you are more going in the repetition, you are more going in the transformation.
Yeah.
As more as you are more exposed to the same knowledge by different angles, you are getting more and more and more and more deep to the root of the nervous system. So the thing that we are used to say, okay, I did something, let's go to the next one, is wrong. And when you identify a certain science or a certain medicine, it's good to, because it's layers. When you will come back next week, the field will already embrace you as a relative. Yeah. And then you can go deeper. Yeah. So yes, it's next week. It's the 11th, which is a nice date. It's in Berlin. I think the last slots are still available. Don't really know how to publish it here, but
I will publish it. I will put the link below, of course. I will load it up today. Yeah. Very
much for creating this platform, especially in this time. Whoever wants to open a platform that we can speak about wisdom that is here and it's so needed now, in the name of what we spoke, in the name of our natural acceptance that we are collective and we all see what's going on now. This is what we should do. So I thank you very much for inviting me, for giving me the space to speak and to share this dance of dialogue together. And we see us soon.
Thank you so much, Itay. See you next week.
Love you.
Yeah, I love you.
Ciao.
Bye.